So I was raised in church all my life. I'm actually a third generation believer, and my family is from the southern part of India called Kerala. And so pretty much all my life, I was raised in this one ethnic group. Everyone looked like me, everyone smelled like me, everyone ate the same food, we spoke the same language. And so you could walk into a room of people that you don't even know, but you instantly connect because that culture is so deep rooted and you understand exactly what the other person's thinking. You know them so easily and you connect with them so easily. So that was my background before coming to the Atlanta Dream Center. I loved my comfort, I loved my culture, I loved the people I was part of. I ran a all-night prayer group, intercessory prayer. We were very involved with church. We were involved in worship ministry, Sunday school ministry, prayer ministry, and also until we came here, we actually ran one of the services once a month. So we were very involved with it, and I had no intention of searching for another group at all. I was very, very happy. And so John started searching and found this. It was random, but it was definitely God ordained. And he found this youth service, Don't Be a Punk. And so that really drew his attention. It's like, what is this youth service? And come to find out, it was the Atlanta Dream Center, and it was the Wednesday night that we used to have here. And we ended up coming here, and we met Pastor Paul, we met Pastor Tommy for the first time. And Pastor Paul was so gracious, like he took us to the Dairy Queen right after the service. It was already late, and we went there, and he prayed this powerful prayer over us as we were having milkshakes. And so it just really drew me to search for a little bit more about what the Dream Center is and what is this place all about. And so that was our first interaction, and definitely a God-ordained one. So coming into the Dream Center was like a dream come true for me, because I'm like, wow, there's so many more needs. So I came with all this expectation to serve and to be a big blessing to this place, but I found myself very much unable to give anything. And so it was few years into coming here that there was this elderly man that used to come here, HIV positive, hepatitis positive, and all different medications, and coming from a whole lot of lifestyle of addictions. But he would faithfully come here. And he would ask me every single Sunday, he'd be like, come now, say a prayer for me. Come and say a prayer for me. And it's in one of these prayers that something opened up in me, saying that I realized that my prayers were hitting a wall and they were bouncing back. And I felt like for him, my prayers were a source of temporary relief, and a relief to the soul that someone cared, that he was feeling something of God when I prayed. But for me, it was a realization that, God, I have nothing to offer to this place. I feel like my prayers are landing nowhere. And everything that I thought I knew and what I had to offer, I felt there was nothing of me to give. And so the Lord had me in a place, in a season, on a long season of just finding a closet in I took a closet in my home, turned it into a prayer closet, and I kneeled down to a God that I barely knew. And although I had served in ministry and everyone thought of me as an example child, and I was a role model for so many people, I found myself being extremely vulnerable before the Lord and saying, God, I really don't have what it takes. I'm not sure if I heard your voice, but here we are. And I think the greatest realization was that, like Adam and Eve hid from God, when God came and said, where are you? And they were hiding so successfully in their fig leaves. I found myself hiding behind success, worldly success. I had a great job. I was successful at it. But I think my security and my significance all came from this fig leaf. This is who Judy is. And so I didn't realize the brokenness of my own soul. My identity became this position that I held, or this car that I drove. I realized I was living a fig leaf life. And I think the Dream Center, with all of its sufferings and the people that I encountered, really helped me to face my own brokenness. This community of believers And this stretching, I feel like this was a PhD in the making for me. This was a doctoral program of knowing God, a God that I barely knew. I knew a whole lot about him. I could preach about him with my heart out, but I really did not encounter the God of the Bible or really understand what this is. So I think the break from ministry as I knew it and life as I knew it with all of its familiarity and comfortableness really birthed what God had already deposited into me. And I realized that my greatest treasure is none of this, even including ministry, that my greatest treasure is that Christ came into my heart and that he is the treasure, he is the door, he's the truth, he's the resurrection, he is the life. And without him, we can do nothing, but with him, nothing is impossible. And so coming to a place like this just set me free from me. I'm not the one healing, he's the healer. I'm not the restorer, he is. I'm not the redeemer, he is. I'm not the savior, he is. I am none of this. But if I could allow myself to be a jar of clay, understanding that the incredible riches of Christ is already in me, and the story is Christ living in me for this hurting world, has hugely, massively revolutionized my life. And so forever, I will be grateful.